What is going on, fellow movie lovers, and welcome back to the Luke Ponto channel. And guys, this is my first pre-recorded video since July of 2022. Crazy, right? But guys, I figured I'd bring it back with viewing my top 10 worst movies of 2022 because, you know, it's the end of 2022, so I figured let's do a list of some of the worst piles of garbage of movies that came out in 2022. We had a great year, though, for 2022. But no denying there were some crap bombs in there, though. But hopefully it goes well. But anyways, guys, without further ado, before we begin, if you guys love physical media content, movie reviews, live streams, watch-alongs, all that type of good stuff, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, that notification bell right next to it. Hit that thumbs up and also share this video. You guys know the drill. But anyways, guys, before we get started with this list, I have some dishonorable mentions, and they are
Firestarter, Man from Toronto, King's Daughter, Secret Headquarters, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Blacklight, The 355, 3,000 Years of Longing, Pinocchio, The Munsters, Mac and Rita, The Bubble, Dashcam, and Moonfall.
Yeah, those films were bad, but not as bad as the next 10 films we're going to be talking about here on this list. So here we go. Number 10. So when I heard that Adrian Lyne was coming back to make another film, the director of Fatal Attraction, mind you, when I heard he was coming back to make this new film, Deep Water, with Ben Affleck and Ana de Armas, two very talented actors, but they have little to no chemistry in this movie, like whatsoever, and we will never pair them as an on-screen couple ever again. Oh boy. Like, this is one of those films that Hulu just needs to bury until everybody just completely forgets about it, which I'm pretty sure that everybody has at this point because it's really, really bad. I'm so over the YA romance novel to movie bullcrap. And this goes to the case with Redeeming Love. But I really don't have anything else to say about this movie because I only got 15 minutes into this movie and I just completely gave up. And I was like, nope, I have better things to do. I'm not going to watch the rest of this movie. So I don't really have anything else to say. And people might be thinking that this should be number one on the list because I didn't finish it. There are worse movies that I watched in 2022 than this movie. That's all I got to say. Yeah, Disney has been through such a huge struggle this year with their films. Just Disney by themselves, not like with Marvel or Pixar or anything like that. They've been pretty good, but they have been incredibly disappointing, and The Ice Age Adventures of Buck Wild is no exception. This movie was a complete wreck from start to finish. Like, the animation just looks so cheap. It doesn't even look like they actually even tried. They didn't even have like the budget to do it. Simon Pegg did give it his fair shot, so I will give him credit for that. But everything else surrounding this film is just as insufferable as you could expect it to be. This movie actually held the number one spot for a little while, but again, this one, there's 6 other movies we still have yet to talk about that were worse than this. But Choose or Die is basically Netflix's attempt to try to remake 13 Sins and Nerve. But in a worse way, basically where nothing of note happens. Like, nothing frightening happens. It's just, like, things just go in there, but it doesn't even happen. It's just like, oh, well, look at this. Yeah, look at this. But nothing's actually happening. What is this? Can Machine Gun Kelly just stick to his music? No? Good Morning was horrible, guys. Like, I heard it was bad, and I wanted to see how bad it was. And the trailer did kind of sell me on the film. It did look kind of funny. And the only reason why I would say it looked funny was because Pete Davidson is in the film, a good friend of Machine Gun Kelly. But man, I did not laugh one single moment. I might have grinned a couple of times, but I didn't actually laugh. There were times during this movie I almost turned it off. Like, I just could not take it. It was very unfunny. Oh boy, The Tiger Rising. A movie that is based off of a children's novel from the same author of Because of Winn-Dixie, which I never read the book. But this is another movie like Artemis Fowl that was made and it just feels like nothing of note happens. Well, not only that, the film does not make any sense, like whatsoever. Like, even if you are fans of the books beforehand, you're gonna hate this movie, like regardless, because it does nothing to stick to the source material. Queen Latifah doesn't even try in this movie. She's just there for a paycheck. Dennis Quaid literally looks like he's just about to pass out just by acting like so hard during this movie. That kind of bad acting. It's just, he's just overacting in this movie. Now look, we had a really good year for horror films this year. In 2022, I meant to say. But we had a great year for horror films. They/Them is not one of them. This movie just forgets what it wants to be. Like, it's marketed as a slasher horror film with LGBTQ people because you have these LGBTQ kids that are sent off to this camp. And then something weird starts going on. And it's supposed to be a slasher. It doesn't obtain any of that. Like, it's just different storylines just meshed into one. And then during like the last like 15 or 30 minutes or so, like, it is a slasher. But the movie was supposed to be that the whole time. It just forgets that. And Kevin Bacon, what was he doing in this movie? Probably the dumbest movie I'm going to be talking about on this list is Interceptor. This movie has some of the dumbest action sequences I've ever seen in my life. The worst writing I've seen in an action movie in quite some time. And the concept for this film is absolute ludicrous. Like, none of it makes any sense. It's just like, okay, how can we write the dumbest concept and have it executed in the dumbest way possible? Let's do that. Yeah. There's a reason why this film did not go to theaters. It released straight to Netflix. It was that bad. Now, this actually might come as a controversial take for some people, like, because I know some people really do like this movie, and I get that. But for me, Crimes of the Future was just sickness-inducing. Now, I'm a fanatic of David Cronenberg. I love a lot of his movies. The Brood, Videodrome, The Fly, Eastern Promises, A History of Violence, Scanners. But this movie, nothing of note happens in this film except for gigantic torture porn sequences. And it doesn't work. Like, it's just torture porn after torture porn after torture porn. That's it. It's basically how my buddy Fritzky describes Crash. Like, crashing cars and having sex. That's basically what the movie is. So basically, I would put this film in the same vein as Crash. The David Cronenberg version, obviously. But Jesus Christ. Viggo Mortensen, Kristen Stewart, and Léa Seydoux are all talented people. But their talents are completely wasted in this movie. There is some interesting imagery. I'll give it credit for that. That's the reason why it's not the number one spot. And also there's something else that we'll get to that made me angrier. But do not waste a single moment of your time. Even if you find this film on Hulu, which it is on Hulu right now. Even if you find this film on Hulu, just scroll past it as fast as you can and just watch something else. Dreadful. All right, here we are, guys. The number one worst movie of 2022. I can't believe I'm even about to talk about this again. There was no movie in 2022 that angered me more than Morbius. This film is one of the worst comic book films I have ever seen in my life. I saw this film in theaters with my brother, and somehow he liked it, and I was like, okay. But I tried falling asleep in this movie like 3 times. This film was so boring. It had nothing going for it. The effects are garbage. The effects just look like they were pulled out of the 2000s, and it's just like, hey, let's have early 2000s comic book movie effects added into this. There's no point for that. I'm sure Jared Leto got method looking at vampire bats, because, believe me, that dude literally says in interviews that he goes method a lot of the time, even if he said it with House of Gucci. But, oh my god. And I did not stay for the post-credit scene. I didn't care. Like, as soon as the directed by Daniel Espinosa thing came up, I immediately got up out of my seat and walked right out. I did not care to stay, because everything else I had witnessed about Morbius was just painful. And at first, it was just one of the worst. It was not the number one spot. But I tried watching this movie again, and I could barely get through it. And that's why now that Morbius is my number one. And It is not Morbin time. I'm sick of those memes. We are done. So, oh my god, I'm seriously done with that movie. But thankfully, you guys, we ripped it off like a Band-Aid. We got through it. I'm happy I'm done talking about those movies. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for tuning in here today. Let me know your list down in the comments below. And let me know if you guys agree with some of my picks. If you disagree, be as respectful as you can. Hit that subscribe button once again. Hit that notification bell as well. Hit that thumbs up and also share this video. And guys, stay tuned. Sometime on January 21st, we're going to be doing our watch along for Scream 2. And yeah, we got a lot of fun stuff here planned for 2023. And I'm going to try to go back to doing some movie reviews here as well for you guys. So be prepared for that as well. Guys, you all are the best. With all that being said, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you guys want to see more content from me, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.